Tonight on CTV News at 6, uncharted territory, new gas price highs in Edmonton. What's behind the rise, and if there's any hope of lower prices on the horizon.
If there's a deal to be had, the price will come down. If there's not a deal to be had, that price will continue to go up.
Head to head.
The minute we knew about this breach, we called the cops.
The Premier versus the NDP leader in the Legislature over a data breach impacting millions of Albertans.
He knew. So why didn't he tell the members of this legislature? Why didn't he tell the government?
And prison time in the case of hundreds of stolen catalytic converters.
It's a high-reward, low-risk crime for a lot of individuals.
Warm temperatures sticking around for the next few days, but the gusts return for Thursday and Friday.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Gas prices have hit new highs in Edmonton. Prices climbing closer to $2 a litre for regular gas. Narman Issa joins us now live from a gas station in the West End. Narman, what can you tell us about the prices?
Well, Jeff, stations across the city are selling regular gas for $1.89 a litre. Premium gas is going for more than $2 a litre. Now, over the past few weeks, we have seen gas prices rise, and one economist says that prices are not going to stabilize anytime soon.
If there's a deal to be had, the price will come down. If there's not a deal to be had, that price will continue to go up, especially as we head into nicer weather and everybody wants to get in their car and go somewhere. Don't forget that we're a few weeks away from the first long weekend of the spring-summer season, so we're going to probably see prices rise merely because of that, regardless of what's going on elsewhere in the world.
Moshe Lander says prices will rise depending on the news of the day with the U.S. and Iranian administrations. He says it doesn't matter that Alberta is an oil and gas-rich province because prices are fueled by global forces. While drivers may be frustrated with the yo-yoing of prices, Lander says that volatility is likely to continue for a while.
Even if you open up the strait tomorrow, even if there's a deal to be had, you have to repair all of that infrastructure to get the oil and gas flowing back to its full capacity like it was before. So this is still going to take months before we can see prices come down to where they were 6 months ago. So for anybody who thinks that the moment we have a deal, things go down to $1.20, they will come down. They just won't go down to where you saw them before until everything's back to business as usual.
Now, Lander says all drivers can do is adjust their driving habits, so that could mean relying a bit more on walking, biking, ride shares, and public transportation. Now, he says there is no magic time of the week to fill up and that the gas prices are at the mercy of what the global markets dictate. Jeff.
All right, Narman, thank you. That's Narman Issa live in West Edmonton. A war of words in the legislature today about who knew what regarding a data breach affecting nearly 3 million Albertans. It comes amid calls for a public inquiry into the issue, something the government won't commit to. Nicole Weisberg has the latest.
The minute we knew about this breach, we called the cops.
He knew. So why didn't he tell the members of this legislature? Why didn't he tell the government?
The leader of the official opposition NDP and Alberta's premier face off in the Alberta Legislature about a data breach impacting millions of Albertans. The UCP confirms at least one of its staff members attended an online Centurion Project meeting last month, but say they had no reason to believe the data in question was unlawful.
Someone with decades of experience in conservative politics thought it was totally okay that Jason Kenney's personal information was released to nefarious characters. So can the Premier confirm that's her story?
There was no way for him to know that this data was illegal.
Yes, we are looking at this matter.
At an unrelated event, Alberta's Privacy Commissioner said she should have information to share tomorrow about whether her office has jurisdiction to get involved. She says since news about the data breach broke, her office has received numerous calls.
Well, it's a very serious issue, and Albertans are very concerned.
Political scientist Jared Wesley is among those calling for a public inquiry. He says Albertans need answers before any ballots are cast.
In the case of Elections Alberta, they've, through no fault of their own, become part of this scandal. And so there are questions that remain as to what they knew, when they knew it. All of this and a bunch of other questions remain unanswered and kind of cast a huge cloud of doubt and suspicion around what could be the most important vote that Albertans have cast.
The Premier and UCP ministers say they're going to wait for the RCMP and Elections Alberta investigations to conclude before considering their next move. Wesley fears that won't happen before the October referendum. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Initially, the Alberta NDP said it appeared United Conservative Party President Rob Smith also attended the Centurion Project meeting. The party denies that. It says, quote, Nenshi is using a common name to drag our president through the mud. Rob Smith was never at that meeting, nor has he been at any Centurion meeting. It's a flat-out lie. Prime Minister Mark Carney says his government plans to stay the course with Alberta as the push for a separation referendum plays out.
To continue to act as we have from the start, which is in the spirit of cooperative federalism, making the country work, making it work for Albertans, making it work for Indigenous peoples, making it work for all Canadians.
The group Stay Free Alberta says it has collected more than 300,000 signatures in favor of a referendum on separation. That number still needs to be verified by Elections Alberta. The Prime Minister says legal hurdles must be cleared before the referendum question can be put to Albertans. Those laws were created after the Quebec separation referendum in 1995. Police say a total of 9 women have now come forward with reports of sexual assault after meeting a man through dating apps. In March, police charged William McMullen with multiple criminal offenses. At that time, 4 women had made complaints. At least one woman reported meeting a man through a dating app and going to his home, where investigators believe he drugged and sexually assaulted her. Since then, 5 more women have come forward. McMullen now faces new charges. He's still in custody. Police there say there may be more victims in both Edmonton and Calgary. Police have charged 2 teens with assaulting a woman at a bus stop with a fire extinguisher. Police say it happened last month in the area of 64th Street and McConaughey Boulevard. A 66-year-old was sprayed while waiting for a bus. The senior and the bus shelter were covered with powder. Police have charged 2 13-year-olds with assault with a weapon. EPS says they're also suspected in 4 other crimes leading to theft and mischief charges. An Edmonton man has been sentenced for possessing hundreds of stolen catalytic converters. The prison time is considered a victory in the fight against a hard-to-catch crime that many Edmontonians are familiar with. Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports.
Teki Ati appeared inside Court of King's bench Wednesday morning. He pleaded guilty to several charges related to more than 700 catalytic converters found in this Edmonton scrapyard in the summer of 2022. Nearly $10,000 in cash, cocaine, and fentanyl were also found. The Crown and Defence submitted a joint submission and the judge accepted. Ati was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in prison. 15 months of that was due to the stolen catalytic converters.
It's a little bit on the low end, but we also know that sentencing doesn't reduce crime in any way. Like, if you sentence them to 10 years, people aren't going to stop stealing catalytic converters.
Norquest College criminologist Dan Jones says these thefts are hard to detect unless you catch them in the act.
It's one of those crimes that it's a high reward, low risk crime for a lot of individuals who have done these types of thefts.
Edmonton Police Service says it's typical to see an increase in theft with fluctuations of recycled metal prices, driving the demand for stolen converters.
The economy drives crime. So if metal's worth a lot of money, then people will steal metal. If unfortunately gas is worth a lot of money, you'll see higher possibilities of gas thefts.
According to EPS, catalytic converter thefts peaked in 2023 with more than 1,600 reported thefts. That dropped to 560 in 2024, and there were 374 incidents reported as of mid-2025. These were the most targeted types of vehicles in Edmonton last year: Mitsubishi RVRs, Hyundai Santa Fe's, and Hyundai Tucsons.
And these individuals know what they're doing. They're in and out within minutes. They get underneath, they saw, pop it off, and go.
EPS warns that converter thefts can happen in less than a minute. To best protect yourself, you can have your converter engraved with your VIN to deter theft, making it harder to sell and easier to trace. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Parkland County says crews have responded to nearly 30 fires since the start of the year. The county says crews are still monitoring the latest fire near Beaurand Estates for hotspots. It says there is no further danger to the public. The fire was first reported Sunday. The county says there were no reported injuries or buildings lost. The acting fire chief is warning people to respect fire bans and restrictions that have been put in place, especially during the dry and windy spring season. The mayor of Wood Buffalo met with Alberta's transportation minister today about what happened on Highway 63 during last month's snowstorm. The late April snow dump left hundreds stranded on the provincial highway. Wood Buffalo Mayor Sandy Bowman says he wants a fulsome investigation. Transportation Minister Devin Dreeshen says better communication is needed. Bowman says his priority is making sure they're ready for next winter before figuring out who will pay for what.
We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Once we get through that, an investigation, have a report for council and the public, then we'll look at who's going to pay the bill.
I think how best to be able to put out the information when it comes to those types of snow events coming next winter is going to be good work.
Dreeshen and Bowman also spoke about the RM possibly taking over maintenance for the section of Highway 63 that runs through Fort McMurray. Neighbors say the demolition of a house in Glenora this morning was illegal because they're actively appealing the infill multiplex plan to replace it. The councillor for the area says under Edmonton's new zoning bylaw, the house should still be standing. City staff will not say whether the demo broke the law. Jeremy Thompson has more.
There's now mostly dust and debris on this property in Glenora. It's in line to become a multiplex. In January, a group of neighbors tried to stop the project through the proper channels.
We appealed against the demolition and they turned it down, but then the lawyers for a couple of the neighbors filed an appeal to the appeal court, and that appeal is still pending.
They say tearing the house down now violates the city's zoning bylaw.
Bylaw can 7.1902.1 to be exact.
It states while a development permit is being appealed, all other permits on that property are suspended until the appeal board or court makes its ruling.
As the demolition is occurring, the Court of Appeals is hearing our application to stay the demolition permit.
A worker for the company doing the demolition would not appear on camera, but he told CTV the demolition permit is active.
I called the city and they don't have the correct records. They don't have any record that this is actually the demolition was under appeal, so it's a farce.
I've now looped in our city team on that, and the feedback I got is, this demolition was not supposed to happen, so they're looking at that right now.
In a statement to CTV News, the city acknowledges an appeal is in progress, but did not say whether that means the demolition was illegal. The neighbors know their court challenge could fail, allowing the multiplex to move forward, but they feel cheated.
The process needs to be respected. There are laws. It says very clearly what those laws are. They should be followed.
If the developer is found guilty of demolition without a permit, it faces a $1,000 fine. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Golf season is getting into full swing in our city. The return to the green has Edmontonians divided on whether city-run courses like Victoria Golf Course are the best use of land in the River Valley. Evan Kenny has more.
Each year, more than 190,000 players use Edmonton's city-run golf courses. Golfers say the three municipal tracks at Riverside, Victoria, and Rundle Park offer something other courses don't.
Golf, especially in the last few years, has gotten quite expensive, especially outside of city courses and municipal stuff.
For me, I literally live 10 minutes away, so it makes it really easy to just come here and just play around.
It's just a very family-friendly place, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Family-friendly, and it's the heart of Edmonton. It's the heartbeat of golf in Edmonton.
But other Edmontonians don't feel the same.
We have to ask ourselves, is this the best use of land in the River Valley, or should we be doing something else like more park space?
Councillor Michael Jans says he's heard from people wanting to change the city's River Valley landscape.
We need a long-term strategy that looks at the recreation needs of all Edmontonians. How are we doing for green spaces? How are we doing for soccer fields? How are we doing for dog parks or walkable amenities?
Councillor Reed Clark says 2 of the city's courses, Victoria and Rundle, are already mixed-use parks.
It's got ball diamonds, it's got the skating rink in the whole park there. When you're golfing there's people just going for walks and just checking it out as much as possible.
Clark says these courses are less expensive and more inclusive than many. He'd rather see them celebrated and uses added rather than taken away.
I love that they're city-run now and they're open to everybody, so I love that side of it and I wouldn't want to lose it, but I'm always open to looking at options.
Last year, the 3 courses brought the city nearly $2 million in profits.
We're always talking about like expenses and revenue and how do we get more revenue besides just increasing taxes.
Jans wants to discuss the future of these sites during upcoming conversations for Council's recreation amenity strategy. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
An annual fundraiser supporting a local youth group saw a sold-out crowd this afternoon. Canvas of Hope showcased live music and performances by kids, teens, and young adults in the iHuman Youth Society program. Each written piece represents personal stories and experiences. The fundraiser also includes an upcycled denim fashion show featuring Mayor Andrew Knack. The nonprofit works with vulnerable kids and teens in Edmonton and offers programs focused on art, music, and mentorship.
It doesn't just raise money, it also helps bring awareness to what we do. Last year, 2025 alone, we saw over 24,000 youth visits, and we have an annual operating budget of $1.7 million. So the more people that know about what we're doing, the more that we continue to give support and provide resources for the most vulnerable youth in our city.
Funds raised from the event will help grow iHuman programs, giving kids and teens support, connection, and creative outlets. Yeah. Canadian tuxedos are inspiring there, Josh. Should we do that?
No.
For a show? No?
No.
You seem pretty sure.
I think we're good just in the regular suits. Okay. Although I had no idea that the acid wash denim was coming back. Take a look outside. Maybe a little warm for a full-on jean outfit. 19 degrees right now, 20 for a daytime high today, 13 to the east at Elk Island. Wind wasn't all that bad today. It is going to turn gustier tomorrow and again Friday. Morning low, 3 degrees is right around average, and that daytime high today, not just a lot warmer than the last couple of days, it was 13 on Monday, 12 yesterday. It also puts us a handful of degrees above average, and we'll stay in that range for the next 5 to 10 days. Cloudy skies as you look outside with the CTV drone flying high over the river valley. We started the day with some sunshine, but as expected, that cloud cover thickened up through this afternoon, and we have had some showers and even a few lightning strikes in through the foothills. We've got some showers as well off to the north of the Edmonton area. It's not so much the rain north of the city or southwest of the city that could roll through. It's this stuff here around Whitecourt tracking off to the southeast. Doesn't look like it's going to be all that heavy or produce significant amounts of precipitation, but chances of some scattered showers in the Edmonton area mid-evening. We'll get some clearing after midnight. Temperatures at 8 degrees tomorrow morning, and then back up to about 21 or 22 with some gusty wind and sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Full look at your 5-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, bridging a gap in women's health care.
I had the information and the resources to tackle the situation and to start to regain my life.
A new virtual menopause clinic is helping Alberta women handle their symptoms without long waits for specialized care. Also ahead.
Giving them a stage to showcase as to how they got there and the things that they had to go through to get there. That's the significance of it all.
Trailblazers from Indigenous communities across Canada gather in our city to make their voices heard.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Menopause is something all women go through, but finding answers and the right medical care in a timely fashion can be a struggle. A new virtual menopause clinic is hoping to help bridge that gap for Albertans. Amanda Anderson reports.
I started second guessing myself, like, is this menopause, or am I like starting to lose my faculties, you know?
Deb Volrath says the hot flashes, hair loss, and memory issues started about 6 years ago.
People make a lot of jokes about menopause, like, oh, you're going crazy, or you're losing all your hair and stuff like that. Those were actually happening to me.
Answers she and many women struggled to get. As the years passed and symptoms persisted, her frustration grew.
This is a big deal. Every single woman on the planet is going to go through it. And it seems like this big black box that no one talks about.
There's over 34 validated symptoms of menopause.
Dr. Nesha Yüksel says on average, women go through perimenopause and menopause for 7 to 8 years, sometimes longer. How it impacts each woman can vary.
It depends on how much they're affected by those hormone fluctuations. So there are some women who only see menstrual cycle changes and maybe no symptoms. There are women that see menopause symptoms and no cycle changes, and there are women that see both.
She says there are very few specialized menopause clinics in Canada, and the wait to get in can be long. It's why she's part of a local team behind Ethica, a virtual menopause clinic.
We're helping you make sense of your symptoms, what's happening. We're listening, validating, and helping you navigate what would be the best option for you and what care plan would be best for you.
There is a fee to access the service, which could be covered by private health insurance. Its website does include a number of free resources to help answer women's questions about menopause. Volrath says she tried everything, including products claiming to relieve symptoms and balance hormones that popped up on social media. But it was the clinic that changed her life.
I felt like I had the information and the resources to tackle the situation and to start to regain my life. Control over my life, as opposed to menopause having control over me.
Ethica is currently available in Alberta and Ontario, but is expected to expand to other provinces in the coming months. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The 2026 Indigenous Trailblazers Summit brought community voices from across the country together in Edmonton. The two-day summit featured a trade show, panel discussions, and networking opportunities. The event focused on Indigenous innovation and business. Organizers say the goal is to create connections and support Indigenous voices in industry.
It finally gives a space for somebody who spent years dedicating themselves to the work that they do, and then giving them a stage to showcase as to how they got there and the things that they had to go through to get there. That's the significance of it all.
Organizers say the event is fully supported by the business community with no provincial or federal funding involved. Still ahead, calls to make youth sports safer.
Repeated trauma, even if it's very mild trauma, can have cumulative effects that are untoward.
What doctors and parents say Canada needs to do to protect kids so they can play sports safely.
Mild mornings, warm afternoons, but gusty for the next couple of days. Could see some showers tonight as well. All those details right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
A new survey is highlighting growing concern when it comes to head injuries in youth sports. CTV's Scott Hurst reports.
Canadian families are demanding more action when it comes to protecting kids participating in youth sports. So many families understand the benefits that can come from kids taking part in sports and being active, but a lot more attention is being focused on the potential downfalls at all levels of participation, including in professional sports. However, a new survey for the Concussion Legacy Foundation of Canada is highlighting how much more needs to be done. 93% of those surveyed are demanding more action to protect children from preventable brain injuries, while 89% are worried about the long-term effects, and 75% believe Canada is even falling behind some other countries in preventing brain injuries in youth sports.
It's not just about the size or the weight of a child, but about the fact that they are young, and repeated trauma, even if it's very mild trauma, can have cumulative effects that are untoward.
The Concussion Legacy Foundation is calling on governments, national sport organizations, and leagues to act now by implementing age-appropriate restrictions on repetitive head impacts, including heading in youth soccer, and establishing mandatory national standards for brain injury prevention and management. Bottom line, researchers say inaction is no longer acceptable, and they hope the increased attention, particularly right now around soccer with Canada co-hosting the World Cup, can get more people on board with the calls to action. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The Women's Professional Hockey League is expanding next season with a new team going to Detroit. Detroit hosted the PWHL's first neutral site games during the league's inaugural season in 2024. That saw a combined attendance of over 53,000 people across 4 games. As a bonus, the PWHL announced Detroit will also host the league's draft and award ceremony in mid-June. The addition comes a year after adding franchises in Seattle and Vancouver. The league says it plans to expand into 2 to 4 more markets.
Does one of them start with the letter E?
It might. We can only speculate, Josh. It should. It should. They
Good
should
for Edgerton.
Yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
That was good.
Right?
I like that.
Thank you. There's a look through the River Valley Sky Cams brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right, it's free. 19 degrees after hitting 19.7 earlier today. Mostly cloudy skies through this afternoon. Red Deer got to 21 as well in Grand Prairie and Jasper, 15 in Fort McMurray this afternoon. So after a couple of cooler than average days, Monday, Tuesday, we're back into the reds. And it looks like most, if not all, of the rest of this first half of the month should be above average. We'll show you the 10-day trend in a second and how these forecast daytime highs compare to the seasonal averages. There's a little trough of low pressure that's developed in the lee of the Rockies. That's going to move off to the east. Most of these showers moving southeast. So you've got some showers up in northeastern Alberta, a little bit here off to the southeast of the Slave Lake region. Some of that will roll through Smoky Lake. I think Cold Lake area overnight tonight might see some showers. Red Deer's getting some showers, and you'll see more of that through the rest of this evening as all of this stuff still has yet to go through. That's what is coming for the Edmonton area. A lot of this may fall apart before it hits the city. I think there's a decent chance that we'll get at least some scattered showers in and around the Edmonton area mid-evening, somewhere around 9 p.m. You also have a few more lightning strikes that have popped up here in the last half hour or so. Elevated terrain. Just off to the west-southwest or west-northwest of the Swan Hills region. So not entirely unexpected in through that area. There's your clearing that'll take place after midnight. We'll get some more showers and maybe some isolated thunderstorms through the foothills tomorrow afternoon. Some showers in the northeast. And then it gets a little more organized late Thursday night into early Friday morning across northeastern Alberta, right along the jet stream here. We'll see partly cloudy skies, it looks like Friday. I think those showers late Thursday and early Friday avoid the Edmonton area. After tonight, next best chance would be Sunday afternoon. 14 in Fort McMurray right now. It's 19s in Red Deer and here in Edmonton, 20 for Grand Prairie. Wind not bad in Edmonton for most of the day today. It was about 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. It's backed off even further into the evening hours here. Still pretty gusty, though, up in the northwest, and we'll see some of those gusts by midday tomorrow. You can see gusts 30 to 40 kilometers per hour midday and through the afternoon. There's your chance of showers. Temperature still in the mid-teens, though, mid-evening. 8 degrees tomorrow morning. And we stay way above zero for morning lows here for the next week and a half. 21 or 22 for a high tomorrow. Windy again on Friday and a high of 18, 19 or 20 on Saturday, and then this is not going to be a complete washout for Sunday. Mix of sun and cloud for most of the day. High of about 22, nice and warm. Chance of scattered showers, though. Probably a little breezy as well on Sunday. 19 for Monday, and still in that 18 to 23 degree range right through all of next week. So you look at those daytime highs compared to that red average line, and you'll notice all of them are slightly above.
Looks fantastic. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, OpenAI and privacy.
Our joint investigation highlights the importance of prioritizing privacy in the development, deployment, and ongoing evolution of artificial intelligence.
Canadian privacy commissioners find widespread misuse of personal information by ChatGPT and
30 feet from the house, roughly. That was all underwater.
Parts of Saskatchewan flooded. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Basement Systems Edmonton. Contact us today for all things basement-y. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An investigation into the popular AI assistant ChatGPT has found the company that created it violated privacy laws across the country. CTV's Judy Trin has more on the damning indictment from Canada's information and privacy watchdogs.
After an investigation that took 3 years, privacy commissioners from the federal government, BC, Alberta, and Quebec found that OpenAI violated privacy laws across the country as it developed its ChatGPT technology.
Our joint investigation highlights the importance of prioritizing privacy in the development, deployment, and ongoing evolution of artificial intelligence.
The joint investigation looked at ChatGPT's 3.5 and 4.0 models and found a lack of accountability. The models over-collected personal information. Users weren't asked for consent, false information was found in searches, and users couldn't correct the info.
To initially train ChatGPT, OpenAI scraped vast amounts of personal information from publicly accessible websites. This was widespread and indiscriminate.
Concerns about the lack of safeguards around ChatGPT have made headlines following the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting that showed OpenAI didn't flag troubling interactions to police. The company is facing several class action lawsuits in Canada and the U.S., but government regulation is lagging. Canada's privacy laws were developed more than 20 years ago.
We have also called on our government to regulate AI uses. The kind of regulation would require companies like OpenAI to evaluate the risks of this technology and to mitigate those risks before launch.
OpenAI was collecting sensitive information, such as health data and political views. The privacy watchdog says the company did fix some of those issues in later versions of its ChatGPT. The federal government is in the process of drafting new AI legislation, but for now, it's relying on private companies to police themselves. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
3 passengers with suspected hantavirus infections have been removed from a stranded cruise ship off the coast of Africa. They've been flown to the Netherlands for treatment. The ship is still moored off the coast of Africa with nearly 150 people on board, including 4 Canadians. It's expected to soon sail to Spain's Canary Islands, where Spanish citizens will be quarantined and others repatriated to their own countries. 3 people have died from the virus aboard the ship. Flooding has hit dozens of Saskatchewan communities. Record water levels are forcing people from their homes in some areas and destroying properties in others. CTV's Alison Bamford reports.
It made a mess.
Leslie Fetter is taking inventory of everything damaged in the flood. His backyard now a body of water, trapping everything in it.
There was just a lot of things floating around. Lost a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of engines that I got to worry about.
Vehicles, campers, machinery all ruined in the water. His house, one of the only things spared.
30 feet from the house, roughly. That was all underwater.
A late snow melt has the entire area under a local state of emergency, along with more than 20 other communities in the province.
Not in my lifetime. I've never seen flooding like this.
The worst of it came over the weekend. Farmyards flooded, basements backed up, and dozens of washed out roads impassable, making it tricky to get anywhere in a hurry.
They were washing out as quick as we could put detours up in place for them. We were like, how are we going to get somewhere?
2 days ago, you couldn't even see this road, so the water is receding, with the worst of it, they hope, behind them. Now comes the cleanup and road repairs, which will take time.
I really couldn't put a dollar figure or a time estimate on it. Like, it's going to be a lot. There's going to be some that just kind of get patched up to get through the season. There's going to be some that take more work.
Most of the work can't start until the water washes away, but it's a problem that Fetter says could have been much worse.
Everybody's still standing. The house is still here. And like I said, now I can go fishing in the backyard if I want to.
A silver lining to a swampy situation. Alison Bamford, CTV News, near Quill Lake, Saskatchewan.
Media mogul and CNN founder Ted Turner has died. Turner Enterprises says he died peacefully, surrounded by family. The Atlanta businessman and philanthropist built a media empire that included cable channels and sports teams like the Atlanta Braves. He was also an avid environmentalist. Turner battled Lewy body dementia in recent years. He was 87. Today, U.S. President Donald Trump outlined details of a UFC fight that will take place on the White House lawn.
And it's all of the best fighters, best 4 fighters standing right behind me, and all champions. And it's going to happen right in front of the White House. Here's a picture. I think a lot of people haven't seen this yet. I'll give you that.
Trump showed off pictures of the octagon that will hold 7 fights June 14th. He was joined in the Oval Office by the 4 star fighters who will lead the fight card. The president has said the event will be free. UFC says fans will be able to request up to 2 free tickets. Still ahead, generational housing issues.
A broad change across the generations, and it's not explicitly down to just one factor.
Why the economy is just one reason millennials are living at home longer. Also ahead.
We have a lot of issues right now, but, fighting climate change still remains the issue of our century.
Canada's finance minister holding out hope after reports Honda is dropping a $15 billion auto project. And there's a live look in the River Valley from our CTV drone above the Victoria Golf Course. Things greening up quite quickly now that the snow is finally gone. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
Looking at today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar staying near 73 cents U.S. Oil is down $7, now around $95 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained $125 today. On the stock market, the TSX is up 414 points. The Dow Jones gained 612. Airbus Canada is selling 150 A220 jets to AirAsia for $19 billion. It's the largest aircraft order in Canadian history.
Canada is once again building big at home and creating reliable partnerships abroad, including very much with ASEAN. So Tony, thank you. Thank you for the trust you're placing in Canadian workers, in Quebec, in Mirabel. You're choosing the best at exactly the right time.
The 160-seat narrow-body planes are built north of Montreal and Mirabel. Airbus is trying to ramp up production of the aircraft at the Quebec plant. It's currently struggling to produce more than 7 jets per month, half the threshold needed to break even. Japanese automaker Honda has reportedly suspended plans to build an electric vehicle plant in Ontario. Financial newspaper Nikkei Asia says slow U.S. demand pushed the Japanese automaker to put the plant on hold indefinitely. Honda was expected to spend $15 billion on the plant, which was slated to open and start operating as early as 2028. In a statement to CTV News, Honda Canada said the company has nothing to report at this time. Canada's finance minister says he hasn't lost hope with the facility.
I think it's still our North Star because what you see across the world, we have a lot of issues right now, but, fighting climate change still remains the issue of our century. And therefore, everyone is trying to electrify as much as possible. We call that the electric stack. So it's gonna be there in transportation. Is it going to take a bit more time?
Francois-Philippe Champagne says he sees the situation as a delay, adding the market has been shifting because of policies south of the border. Statistics Canada data is backing up the struggle facing millennials when it comes to housing. StatsCan says more people currently in their 30s and 40s are living at home compared to their older siblings and parents. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Even with a good job in the trades, Eric Rodriguez says he's struggling to afford getting back in the housing market.
There used to be a time and an age in this country where working hard and making a good wage would get you ahead and would get you a house, and you'd be able to go on all these trips on the weekends with the kids. But now it just seems that we're working harder than ever, and we're just basically keeping our head above water.
He's not surprised to hear about a new report from Statistics Canada that showed twice as many millennials live with their parents than baby boomers did when they were in the same 25 to 39 age bracket.
a broad change across the generations, and it's not explicitly down to just one factor.
Affordability is often top of mind when it comes to millennial home ownership. Statistics Canada says other factors include a cultural shift with a more diverse younger population more likely to live with parents, and the concept of life stretching, where Canadians are spending longer on each stage of life.
They're having to go to post-secondary more. They pay more for the privilege to then land jobs that actually pay less than baby boomers earned after adjusting for inflation, to then face way higher housing prices.
How have we managed to screw things up so badly that despite all the correct ingredients in Canada, we have managed to make housing less achievable for younger people?
That expert pointing to improved building technology and lots of land per capita as reasons Canadians should be able to afford homes.
The paper was done using 2021 data as the latest data, and since then, the affordability picture has worsened.
Statistics Canada tells us they hope to provide more concrete information on affordability challenges in the housing market with future research. Meanwhile, the latest data is currently being collected with the 2026 census. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, a family affair.
I think about my grandpa because he liked trees, and then my mom liked trees, and then I liked trees.
An inherited love of nature has led a 5-year-old Alberta boy to develop some impressive junior ranger skills. Stay with us.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
Menopause and perimenopause, both a big part of midlife for women, but medical information is hard to sort through. Thursday, the doctor is in to help with advice to keep symptoms in check.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
A Calgary kindergarten student is hoping his love of nature can propel him to become North America's next junior ranger. Kevin Green caught up with him this morning as he sits at second place in the competition.
In Griffith Woods Park in southwest Calgary, 5-year-old Jack Lanstra moves quickly through the trees, climbing logs, searching for insects, and talking excitedly about animals, forests, and why he loves being outside. These days, he's learning about bee hummingbirds.
It's a hummingbird that is almost the size of a bee, and its nest is as big as a golf ball. And its eggs are the size of a coffee bean.
Jack also protects the natural spaces he loves, stopping to clean up garbage during walks in the woods.
Me and my grandma were walking, and then when we were walking, we decided to get a garbage bag. So we got a garbage bag and then went for a walk. And we got lots of garbage, that big tire.
Jack is currently in second place across North America in the National Wildlife Federation's Junior Ranger competition. The program, hosted by wildlife expert Jeff Corwin, encourages kids to learn about conservation and protecting the natural world.
So we told him, not about the competition, but that there was a chance to be part of a group of kids around the world who care about protecting nature and the wild spaces, and he got really excited about that.
Jack's mom says his love of nature started early and says he feels most at home outside, reminding his family to slow down and enjoy the forest around them. Jack says for him, the forest is also a keeper of family memories.
I think about my grandpa because he liked trees, and then my mom liked trees, and then I liked trees.
The winner of the Junior Ranger competition receives a cash prize, a feature in Ranger Rick magazine, and an expedition with Jeff Corwin. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
I like that kid. It'll be a nice, nice temperatures over the next couple of days to go out and explore in the trees. A little windy tomorrow and Friday. Gusts will be around 40 kilometers per hour both days, but 21 tomorrow, 18 on Friday, and look at those morning lows in the 5 to 8 degree range, so no threat of frost over the next couple of days. Slight chance of some scattered showers there for Mother's Day Sunday, but up to 22. And again, for tonight, you have a chance of some scattered showers. Somewhere around 9 o'clock tonight, you might see some precipitation slide through the Edmonton area.
All right. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. Have a great evening, everyone.